Funny enough, I didn't even get the chance to sit down and talk to my husband before something else happened. I just can't believe my life at the moment. Oh my God. Tell everyone I said hi and I hung up. Oh. And I have 3 sons. I want to throw something. I think this I think this might be one of my favorite posts so far.
We will inspect your home,
Warning. Episodes may contain discussion of potentially triggering subjects. Please see the description for more information.
Ooh. I love getting posts from other subreddits that aren't framed like an Am I the Asshole post, so I can make it as vague as fucking possible. Ooh. Am I the whole for being done being the bigger person? Am I the whole for being done being the bigger person? The real actual title is my husband's childhood best friend asked me for a favor, then humiliated me in front of her family. I'm done being the bigger person. So I, 30 female, have been happily married for a few years now. My husband, 31 male, is honestly a gem. Kind, patient, hilarious, loyal, basically everything you'd want. Which, after having an ex cheat on me with his best friend, is kind of a big deal. The relationship wrecked me for a while, but I worked hard not to drag the wreckage into something new. And my husband, and thankfully, my husband's never given me a single reason to question him. Until now, maybe, I don't know. My husband and I have a great relationship and we're pretty social and often hang out with each other's friends. I get along with almost all of his group and they've honestly made me feel welcome. Except for her. There was a ... except for her. It like I felt that. His childhood best friend, let's call her Claire. Claire has always been cold to me, not outright rude, just subtle enough to make me feel crazy for noticing. You know that kind of vibe? Every time we've been in the same room, she's managed to talk around me, not to me. I tried. I really did. I've smiled, made conversation, been nothing but warm, even when she's given me nothing to work with. She doesn't show up to group hangouts, but she'll invite him over. And he always tells me, to his credit, he never goes without mentioning it, and he's never weird or secretive about her, but it still rubs me the wrong way. I've tried being friendly. I've tried small talk. Hell, I invited her to our birthdays, barbecues, engagement dinner. She bailed on all of them. She skipped our wedding too, and she only ever seems to reach out to him, usually when she's just been dumped and needs to quote unquote talk. I don't trust like this. When I brought it up, my husband says I'm overthinking it, that Claire is just quote unquote a little odd socially. Maybe she is. Then a few weeks ago, out of nowhere, she messaged me. She asked if I'd model for her project. Totally unexpected. And I was caught off guard enough to say yes. Part of me thought maybe this is her trying to connect. Maybe this was her olive branch. I even felt a little hopeful. God, I was naive. So I agreed. My husband offered to come with me since he hadn't seen her a while and thought it'd be fun to catch up. When we got there, her family was also involved, and from the second I walked in, it was like stepping into some passive-aggressive Twilight Zone. Her mom and sister kept calling my husband our son-in-law. Oh, this is gross nasty. This is gross nasty poo-poo diapers stinky town. I need this man to step up right now. You fucking know he's not. You fucking know he's not. You fucking know. The title was, I'm done being the bigger person. She's going to come off the rails. She's going to fly off the handle because obviously this has been going on for how fucking long? And he's going to be like, I think you overreacted. It's just a joke. Ooby boopy doopy doop doop. I've got a spine that's just about as structurally sound as a wet paper bag. I laugh awkwardly, think I must have misheard. It only got worse. During the shoot, came more of the snarky comments, jokes about, quote, the one that got away, and, quote, some bonds never fade. Her mom at one point literally said, we always thought Claire would end up with him, but life has its detours, I guess. Claire always imagined walking down the aisle with him. And then, it's sweet of her to fill in, though. Oh, come on, I wish I was exaggerating. And Claire just kept snapping pictures, smiling, saying nothing. No, hey, cut it out. No awkward laugh, no redirect, nothing. My husband, clearly uncomfortable. I watched him fidget through the whole thing, clear his throat a few times. He tried to change the subject or came near me during the shooting. He didn't say much either. He just kind of went quiet. I stuck it out for an hour, let her take her photos, smiled, posed, whatever, but the whole time I felt like I was part of a social experiment and everyone else was in on the joke but me. When we got in the car, he went silent for a while, then finally said, sorry about that all. That was weird, right? And honestly, I didn't even know what to say because yeah, it was weird. It was borderline disrespectful. Not borderline. No, not borderline. It was disrespectful. It felt pointed. And the fact that he was there, saw all of it, clearly felt it too, and still didn't step in or pull the plug makes me feel kind of alone in this. I'm just tired. Tired of pretending this woman is harmless or just awkward. She knows exactly what she's doing. I don't want to start a huge fight, but I'm at the point where I don't want her in our lives. Not as a friend, not as a ghost in the corner of our marriage, no more bending over backwards to be the cool wife. I'm not interested in earning points with someone who clearly doesn't want me around. Anyway, thanks for letting me scream into the void for a minute. I really needed to get this out. Where's the part where you weren't the bigger person? You subjected yourself to an hour of fake modeling around this person's family while they just dogged on you and talked about how much their daughter wants to fuck your husband. Where's the part where you're the bigger person? Edit. Sorry guys, English is not my first language or even second. Sometimes it's harder to get my points / feelings across. Just to clarify a few things that people are asking about. Claire is actually a photography major and this shoot was part of her final project. I'm not a professional model or anything, but I've done some hobby modeling here and there. So when she asked if I'd help out, I thought it was a casual favor. Why at her house? She comes from a wealthy family and has a fully set up photo studio in their house, which is why the shoot happened there instead of at a regular studio. I honestly thought it'd just be her and the camera, not a full audience with drinks and commentary. Additional background. I grew up in a pretty emotionally abusive household, so I think I've gotten too used to passive aggressive comments and just sort of freeze up. Maybe that's why I didn't react more in the moment, but yeah, I definitely hit harder after the fact. I'll update you as soon as possible. For those wondering, no, they never dated. He had a high school crush on her over a decade ago. That's ancient history. No, I don't think he's ever cheated emotionally or physically. He's always very open and honest. We have each other's passwords. They barely see each other in person. Oh, they barely see each other anymore in person. Maybe once every few months. We live about 2 hours away. Okay, here's the update. Funny enough, I didn't even get the chance to sit down and talk to my husband before something else happened. I just can't believe my life at the moment. Oh my God. Anyway, I was still trying to process what happened and sort through my anger towards Claire and honestly toward my husband too. That's when I got a message from my sister-in-law. We'll call her Madeline. I'm really close with Madeline. She's also a part of my wider social circle that Claire floats around in. They're friendly, but not close. She sent me a screen recording from Claire's close friend story with the simple WTF. It was a clip of me posing during the shoot. No music, but in the background, you can clearly hear Claire's sister say, Claire should have been the one to marry him. I waited until my husband got home from work, sat him down and showed him the video. He watched it once, then again, his whole face changed. He finally looked pissed. I could not help but think, why didn't he have the same reaction there? So I laid it all out. I told him everything. Every snide comment, every time Claire made me feel small, how I'd always tried to be civil, how I never asked him to choose between us, how I was done being polite while someone consistently disrespected me. I told him, if this doesn't bother you enough to act, we've got a bigger problem. I'm not going to be in a marriage where I have to beg to be defended. Yes. Yes. Stand on motherfucking business. Stand on business. I need a partner who stands up for me, and if that's not you, then I need to rethink this. He didn't argue, didn't get defensive, and I know he feels sorry. Then I showed him the Reddit post. He tried to read every comment. Some of them made him tear up. When he finished, he looked at me and said that he feels like the worst husband. He let this happen right in front of him. He is so sorry and asked me, "What do you need from me now?" I told him straight up, this isn't just about her anymore. It's about whether or not you're willing to protect this marriage. But I'm not going to feel like I'm second place in my own relationship. It's either me or her. So we called Claire. She picked up all cheerful, acting like nothing had happened. We brought up the video. She immediately got defensive. "Oh, come on. It was just a joke. Are you really mad over that? Seriously?" It's not a joke when no one is laughing. Yeah. My favorite response to that is, "What's the joke? Can you explain it to me?" If you can't explain it, then it's not a fucking joke. And that's when he stepped in. This isn't just about the video. It's the constant disrespect toward my wife. I didn't say anything before because I didn't want to lose your friendship, and I convinced myself you didn't mean it. But what happened at that shoot? That was disgusting. My wife came to support you, and you and your family treated her like a joke. I didn't speak up then, and I'm ashamed of that, but that ends now. I don't even know why I held on to this friendship for so long. If you can't respect my wife, you don't respect me. She laughed, literally laughed. Wow, you're really cutting me off over that girl? That girl is his wife. I was ready to fight, but my husband calmed me down, said to Claire, "If choosing between you and my wife ever felt like a hard decision, I wouldn't deserve her. We're not kids anymore. You need to grow up. I simply do not want to be your friend anymore. I have nothing else to say." We blocked her and her entire family. Since then, he's been checking in with me, not trying to fix things, just showing up, listening, understanding. He finally sees what I've been dealing with. We've got some healing to do, but now I know where he stands, and that changes everything for me. New update from April, May, June, July, 3 months later. Hi again. I wasn't going to post a third time, but a bunch of people kept asking for an update, so I figured I'd close this out. My husband actually read the second post too, after seeing it all written out and reading the comments, which surprised him that people were still curious, but maybe that was a good thing. The update itself isn't dramatic. After the last call, we blocked Claire and her whole family, and that was it. No follow-up, no weird texts, no fake apology, nothing, just silence. And honestly, the silence was kind of the best thing she ever gave me. My husband's been great, not doing too much or trying to overcompensate, just steady. He finally sees how much I was putting up with. He's been more protective in a real way, not just in words. He owns how passive he was before. It doesn't feel like we've been trying to move on. It just feels like we're on the same page now. I think the biggest shift was internal. I'm not second guessing myself as much. I'm not trying to win people over who've already decided not to see me. I feel a lot more grounded, and it's because I finally spoke up instead of brushing things off. Not much drama, but a lot of clarity. Probably gonna delete this account soon. This thread honestly helped me more than I can explain. For anyone else dealing with subtle disrespect that makes you question your own gut, you're definitely not imagining it. You're not being dramatic. You don't have to keep being the bigger person just to stay quote unquote nice. So not the hole. And that's all she wrote. Back to the hole inspector subreddit. What's the next highest upvoted one? Am I the hole for skipping my brother's wedding because I wasn't invited to the engagement party? I, 28 male, have a twin brother. Oh, growing up, we were inseparable, and until recently, I thought we were still very close. I was always more of a shy nerd, and he was an extrovert that played sports throughout our childhood and high school, but we spent almost all our time together by choice. We went our separate ways when college came. He stayed local in Arizona, and I went to college in Portland. When I graduated, I stayed there because I fell in love with the city. My friends are here, my professional networks from internships are here, etc. But I always flew back home for the holidays, events, birthdays, etc. My brother announced on Instagram that he and his girlfriend of 3 years got engaged. I was incredibly happy for him and texted him congrats. He mentioned they were planning to have an engagement party in 6 to 8 weeks and told him to let me know so I can book a flight to come celebrate. I was never told a date. If I brought it up with him or anyone in my family, they'd change the subject or say it's still being planned and confirmed. After a few weeks, I texted my brother to ask about the date because it might be getting close and I don't want to pay for a last-minute flight. No response. I asked my mom for details and she said it's not really an engagement party, just a small dinner with family. There's no need to come down for it. With family. With family. This is your twin brother. A small dinner with family. You are being intentionally misleading and exclusionary for a reason. Quit being fucking weird. Own up to the fact that you're being assholes. I eventually found out that it was in fact a big party. They rented out an entire restaurant for 4 hours, and there were 80 guests, family, friends, cousins, everyone. Everyone was told I couldn't make it. My aunt, who was like a second mother to me, texted me that she was very disappointed I couldn't make time to join, and I replied that I would happily come, but I was not invited. Word spread quickly about my snub, and my parents and brother tried to say it was a misunderstanding. That was almost over a year ago. Since then, I've tried to get to the bottom of why I wasn't invited over the course of months, and went from it was just meant to be a small gathering to I don't know what happened, there must have been some miscommunication to it's just a party, it's no big deal. I asked my brother if he was mad at me. I thought maybe his fiance didn't like me. Even if she or he didn't want me there, why were my parents okay with this? This really wasn't like them. Christmas and Easter was awkward as hell because no one but me wanted to address the elephant in the room, and any conversation about anything was like small talk with strangers. When I visited in May for my sister's birthday, I left early after my sister said, "You moved so far away, it's like you're not really family anymore. You make everything feel so weird now." 9 months ago, I got the save the date announcement, and 6 months ago, I got the invitation to the wedding. I wasn't asked to be in the wedding party, which is fine and wasn't surprising at that point. My sister and younger brother were asked to be in the wedding party, so another snub. I also didn't get a +1 for my girlfriend I've been seeing for almost a year and a half. My sister, however, got a +1 for her friends with benefits. Oh, so I decided I wasn't welcome. I was probably only invited for optics and to play happy family. I didn't RSVP since I knew that would cause a shit show. I just didn't go. The wedding was this past weekend. No one contacted me about missing the rehearsal dinner, so I guess even if I did go, I wasn't invited to that either or expected to be there. I started getting calls and texts about an hour before the ceremony asking where I was, if my flight was delayed, how far along I will be, etc., and I ignored them. They stopped for a while during the ceremony but started up again right after. I finally picked up my mom's call and she screamed, "Where the hell are you?" I replied, "In Portland, where you all prefer me to be." She said, "This is your brother's wedding. How could you embarrass us?" I answered, "It's just a party. It's no big deal, right?" Oh yes. That's the shit I fucking love. It was probably the first time in my life my mother was speechless. After a few seconds of silence, I said, "Tell everyone I said hi," and I hung up. Oh. King shit indeed. I'm sorry. Now I'm getting calls and texts from everyone saying I was being petty and ruined the day. If my presence made or broke that wedding, you have bigger fucking problems than me not showing up. Am I the asshole here? I feel like I'm just matching their energy and dropping the rope. After I moved, it was frequent calls, text messages, etc. from both sides. But after all this happened, I took some time to really evaluate what was going on, and I realized that in the past few years, almost all contact was initiated by me. All right, update. Fresh update. To the people who said yes the whole, I understand your reasons. Yes, it was cowardly to not RSVP to avoid drama, but looking back, I was in a headspace where I just caved to the guilt if I RSVP'd that I wasn't planning to attend. A little part of me was hoping they'd realize I didn't RSVP and they'd tell me they want me to come. But every day that passed between the RSVP date and the wedding, I got angrier and more hurt, and I wanted to make it clear in a big way that if they don't want me around, I don't have to be around. And I get that that's an asshole move. I had a long phone call with my aunt and cousin last night about the wedding drama. They have given me some more info, and our suspicions are a bit of conjecture based on what we know and what we've heard, but here it goes. We really do think my mother felt I rejected them when I didn't move back after graduating. And how could this have possibly been ascertained, you ask? Is your answer long distance telepathy? Because that's what it seems like. This is despite always coming home for my brother and sister's graduations, all birthdays, mine and immediate families, holidays, special events, etc. I practically visit on a monthly basis. But despite this, we think that she has some weird vendetta against me for splitting up her family and being an example to my siblings that they don't have to stay local. Even worse, somehow visiting so often made my mother resentful because my aunt mentioned that my mother once told her a few years ago I was quote unquote flaunting my wealth by showing I could visit so often. Thanks to my senior year internship, I was immediately into a field where progression can be quick, and thanks to going back for a very specialized master's degree, I'm in a very niche space within that field and was able to move up faster. I'm not bragging, it was just luck, connections, and a great mentor early on. People suggested my brother might be jealous. He does earn less, but as far as I know, he loves his job. It just doesn't have the same career progression. Honestly, his job is much more exciting than mine, and I'm sure it fulfills him a lot more. My job isn't terrible, it's just not one anyone wants to hear work stories about at a dinner party. I was also flaunting my money by gifting family money when they needed it. My grandfather often said, never loan family money, give it freely if you want to, but you'll destroy relationships when you start asking for repayment. Not a week of Judge Judy reruns goes by without proving that true. So when I could, I gifted my family money when they needed it. Money for car repairs, money to help with my parents' mortgage, when my dad was out of work during COVID, money when my brother ran out halfway through the kitchen renovations, and until last night, my parents' internet and Disney Plus bills, but I've now canceled the monthly auto payments. Again, this was me flaunting my success, but they never stopped asking either. Interesting. My aunt and cousin also said they've heard lots of passive-aggressive comments about me over the years. First from my mother during the first few years after I decided to stay in Portland, and then eventually from my siblings. We're pretty sure my mother slowly poisoned them against me for not moving back home and showing what happens if they ever tried to move away. Someone said this about my mother meeting my girlfriend in my previous post. To be honest, given the context of everything else that's happened, what your mother said here about finally finding someone who can put up with you sounds like a tongue-in-cheek joke and more like a not-so-subtle barb. I see it now. I laughed it off as my mom's humor, but I now see that these passive-aggressive comments to my siblings over the years was subtle manipulation to turn them against me and for me to learn to accept it. A lot of people suggested this treatment was to get me to move back home and to punish me for leaving, but I'm not going to come home to embrace treatment like this and hope it goes away now that they got their way, especially when it's been too ingrained in them by now. It also explains why for the past few years, almost every conversation is initiated by me. They simply don't like me anymore and don't need me until they need or want something. My cousin also learned from another cousin that my brother shot himself in the foot when he mentioned the engagement party. I wasn't supposed to know at all. The plan was to tell everyone I couldn't make it and hope I'd never find out. Holy shit. My brother told that cousin that I wasn't supposed to find out about it, but after he let it slip, I, quote, wouldn't shut up about asking to come. Based on how they've been talking about me for a couple of years, lots of extended family thinks I'm some annoying loser who makes my too often visits miserable for my family, and I can't get the hint to fuck off, so I'm finally fucking off. My aunt and mother never really got along. My aunt is my mother's brother's wife, but my aunt said she knew all of this had my mom's name all over it. The years of digs, passive-aggressive comments, and full-on aggressive comments have all come to this. She said they're not the same people. I told them that I don't think there's any coming back from this. My aunt and cousin both mentioned that they never heard my dad say anything bad, so my aunt is going to have my uncle talk to my dad man to man to see if he can find out what the hell is going on. I thanked my aunt and cousin and reminded them they are pretty much the only family I have left and I don't plan on losing touch with them. My aunt even mentioned that they haven't gone camping in years and asked if there are any nice places around Portland. It's too far to drive to go camping, but it means that they may visit sometime. They also said they're going to start trying to correct info about me with extended family members, but I told them not to bother. They've already chosen to believe it. But for now, my immediate family are cut off. I've blocked them on my phone and social media. No more free handouts when they need money. No more wasting money going to Phoenix fucking Arizona 10 plus times a year just to be roasted by the sun and family members. No more punching bag. Thank you all for your support and helping me realize my family really is shitty. Good luck to him for sure. Not the whole at all. Holy shit. All this because you're mad you can't control your kid anymore. Right. I would believe pretty much anything about extended family because I don't know them well enough to say otherwise. Yeah, that's fair. New prediction going live right now. Am I the hole for telling my stepdaughter to stop using period products in the bathroom she shares with my teenage sons? I don't even need to read this. Yeah. You're an asshole. Teach your sons that that's fine and normal. Wow, imagine being a parent. I've been living with my new wife and stepdaughter for about 6 months now. For some reason, I assumed this was the stepmom. It's even worse. She's 19, almost 20.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
And I have 3 sons. I want to throw something. I have 3 sons aged 18, 16, and 15. I can't believe this. The stepdaughter is a literal adult. One of the sons is a literal adult. The 2 other ones are 16 and 15 years old. She's a really good kid. She's an adult, and she's a good influence on my sons. I really enjoy having her around. My wife and her daughter moved into my house and sold theirs. I don't know if I can read the rest of this. This is fucking infuriating. My stepdaughter's father isn't present in her life, nor is my son's mother. All 4 children share a bathroom. My sons have never lived for a long period of time with a woman, nor have any of them had long-term girlfriends. I wonder why. They had short visitation periods when they were younger, but never longer than an hour. So living with 2 women has been unusual for them. My eldest son, 18, came to me last week and told me his stepsister disposes of her used sanitary products in the trash can that they share, but doesn't use toilet roll or sandwich bags to disguise what they are, and it makes him uncomfortable, which I think is reasonable. You are a fucking man-child. My sons are teenage boys, and I don't want to see their stepsister's period products on full display. The only thing that you are teaching is your stepdaughter to be shameful of her body. Do you not see this? No, you don't. You can't see past your own fucking nose. A few nights ago, I went into the kitchen to grab a snack, and she was there doing some work for university. My wife had mentioned that she knew she was on her period, so I took it as an opportunity to have a word with her. The use of the word on display, right, is like, I'm sorry, it's in the trash can. I told her my sons were uncomfortable and asked if she'd mind putting her used products in diaper bags or flushing them down the toilet. She laughed and told me it was rich coming from a man who sheds like a gorilla and has produced 3 skid-marking sons. Queen shit. Okay, queen shit. Which I thought was just an unnecessary attack. Oh, really? An unnecessary attack? Man, I wonder what else could possibly be perceived as an unnecessary attack. About very normal, regular bodily functions or something. Oh, I don't know. I've been nothing but nice to the girl, and it's hardly a comparison. My son shouldn't be subjected to her unhygienic products if it makes them uncomfortable. I don't give a fuck about your man pain. Get over it. She went on to lecture me about how tampons can't be flushed and that it's bad for the environment if she uses diaper bags for every one, which I think is just an excuse. I called her a scruff and told her this was my house and that what I say goes. I later asked my wife if she could have a word with her, and she told me I was being ridiculous and that her daughter has had her period for 10 years and knows what she's doing. When I told her it was making my sons uncomfortable, she said my sons needed to get a grip and turned over and went to sleep. Good. Good. Stand on fucking business. Maybe these men might actually fucking learn something. God for fucking bid. This is a genuine issue to me. She didn't care enough to have a discussion about it. I asked my stepdaughter again in the morning, and she did the same as her mother, completely dismissed it. Both of them have told me to stop being so silly, but I don't see how I'm being unreasonable when it makes my sons uncomfortable. Am I the whole? Update. Not even 2 hours after I posted this, my wife and stepdaughter gathered my sons and I and gave us a full intensive periods for pricks course, PowerPoint and everything. It was a hoot. They made an interactive quiz and everything. My sons and I learned a lot and apologized to my stepdaughter. Thank you for your input. I could cry. Have we ever read a story like this where the men learned a lesson in the end? When men actually listened to women, they actually learned something. Who could have fucking thought? Not only learned, but actually acknowledged that they were wrong, corrected themselves, and apologized. I do still think they're the asshole. Even if you apologize for it, you've since learned you're an asshole. This man had 3 children with a uterus haver and still somehow had these thoughts. Yeah, exactly. Still an asshole. This is a rare event, though. Yeah, absolutely. Exceptionally rare. We found the shiny Pokemon of Hole Inspector posts, I think. The temperament being angry, threw me off for a little bit, but, we came back around. Hijacking the top comment since I doubt OP will edit to add this in. He said in his replies that she wraps the pads and tampons in the packaging before throwing them away, so the sons can't even see any blood and the garbage bin has a lid. I'm not surprised the stepdaughter snapped. If you'd like to enter the next giveaway, to choose our last post of the day, hopefully knock on wood, type the word apple into chat. All right, winner of the next post. Chronic, what is our next keyword? Have we done grilled cheese before? We're about to find out. I have our last post. Am I the whole for pooping really loudly and ruining my sister-in-law's baby shower? This is super embarrassing, so throwaway. Sister-in-law recently got pegnat, and she asked my mom if she could host her baby shower at the house since we have a pretty good back garden and deck. Mom gave the go-ahead. Now sister-in-law and I aren't best friends, but I'm nice to her when we do interact. For my brother's sake, more than anything, my sister-in-law never liked me. I have no idea why. I've never said more than the usual polite conversation with her when my brother's around. I've never interacted with her without him there. So when I wasn't invited to her baby shower, I was shocked and hurt. But the day of, I went to the kitchen. Sister-in-law was in there grabbing some finger foods. She didn't look happy to see me, but before she could leave and head back out, one of her friends came in and said hi. I said hi back, and the friend asked who I was. I introduced myself as her sister-in-law. Friend was all smiles and asked if I was going to join them outside. Sister-in-law was glaring at me, so I said probably not. I used my lactose intolerance as an excuse, saying I didn't think I'd be able to eat any of the food and I didn't want to make anyone feel awkward by not eating what they had there. That line usually works, but the friend said they had a few dairy-free dishes because one of their friends was also lactose intolerant. When I tried to use use the I have a paper due excuse, and sister-in-law latched onto that and said if I was busy with school, then they shouldn't distract me. The friend said that was true, but she started making me a plate of all the dairy-free options anyway, saying that they had tons, and the more that gets eaten, the less they have to pack up. I just wanted to leave and not be glared at by my sister-in-law anymore, so I thanked her and said that it was nice to meet her before taking the plate and going to my room. I ate the food, and it was good. It was some kind of dumpling, grilled veggies / meat, and soy mac and cheese. But I think there was some kind of dairy in either the dumpling or pasta because my stomach started hurting really bad almost the second I finished eating. I ran to the bathroom, but my mom was in the one by my room, so I had to use the one by the kitchen. I barely got in, got my pants down before it was a volcano of painful diarrhea. It was so loud and felt like my body was trying to shit out all of my organs. After I was done, my sister-in-law screamed at me for ruining her baby shower. Apparently it started raining, so they all came inside to finish up and could hear me blowing up the bathroom and left. I apologized, but she was sobbing, and my brother texted me and said I was an asshole for eating food I knew would cause that reaction and then embarrassing his wife. You did this on purpose. Oh, you think I want to violently evacuate my entire body? No! I feel really bad for embarrassing her. Should I apologize again? Am I the hoe for not double checking the food was dairy free? Edit. So this actually happened a week ago, and today I got a Facebook friend request from the friend of my sister-in-law who gave me the food. I plan to ignore it because, good God, what would I say to someone who heard me pooping out my intestines? But I was curious and read her message. She apologized for triggering my lactose intolerance and said it was the soy mac and cheese that did it. It upset the other friend too, she said, but not as bad, and it was a complete accident. She used soy cheese to make it, but after getting home, she looked up soy cheese, and apparently there's still dairy in it unless it's specifically labeled vegan soy cheese. She said sorry again and told me she wanted to apologize at the baby shower, but, and here's the interesting part, sister-in-law apparently kicked everyone out while I was still using the bathroom. Oh, ho, ho, ho! My! How the toilets have tabled! Well! Someone isn't sitting so high on their porcelain throne now, are they? Maybe you need to pull up a stool and have a seat and explain yourself, maybe. Maybe you should take a number 2 attempt at your explanation, perhaps? You really do just let the lies flow through your hole, don't you?
1,000,000 years dungeon!
According to the friend, Hannah, the guests only left because sister-in-law basically booted them out of a fit of anger. I told my mom that Hannah told me, and mom isn't happy with sister-in-law lying and screaming at me. Mom hadn't known sister-in-law screamed at me because she had her headphones on. She had only heard sister-in-law's side of things before today. I don't know what's going to happen with sister-in-law and everything. I went to go check OP's post history to see if there was any updates or anything. The username is fartbomb41. God, this post is exactly what I needed. I think this I think this might be one of my favorite posts so far. You know how many times we've had clips of fun glitches in video games? So many times. Have any of them won a single clip contest? No, not a single goddamn one. I already know you're gonna vote for Bussy, okay? Well, excuse the fuck out of me for wanting to go and start Skyrim random time, okay? To have fun with the community and save a little bit of time. All right? I already know. My Bussy.